All right, Maddie, we are breaking down yet another classic SummerSlam match. Triple threat here. Triple H, the game, Kurt Angle, and The Rock for the WWF title at the time. And before we even get going with this match, we get a young Kurt Angle in the ring. He's been in the WWF for about a year at this point. In this match, Maddie comes out there, cuts a promo ish about Stephanie McMahon and how he's glad that he kissed her and should have done it earlier, and really taking it to Triple H before this match can even get started. So it's a in my opinion, it's a pretty green promo from Kurt Angle, but also it's a fun way to get this match started.
Yeah, and it seems like this is another one. You've got the main event of SummerSlam 2000, Raleigh, North Carolina. The crowd is electric for this one. Really shows you just how dominant WWE was by then. And the storyline we got to bring it up. There's things of this that I do remember watching when I was young. With the Steph, you kind of forget about the McMahon Helmsley era a little bit, but this is also kind of a green Triple H. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
kind of he's just now starting at his like main event run, but there's a lot of soap opera, a lot of storyline with Stephanie McMahon involved, and it kind of lets you know that before the match even starts.
right. Yeah, that's definitely the antithesis of this match, and that's what we're focused on, and we're so hyper focused on that particular point that when Triple H comes out, so Kurt Angle is out in the ring first for this match. Triple H comes out second. He doesn't do the water spit. He doesn't do anything at the entrance ramp. He is just boom, a beeline down to Kurt Angle, ready to whip his ass. And so it's Hunter and it's Kurt Angle for a good, I don't know, 10 minutes beating the shit out of each other before The Rock even makes the entrance to this match.
Yeah, and that's the only one weird. There's a couple weird things, but the one that the Rock's a champ, and he's kind of like the afterthought in this whole like
Yeah,
main event.
yeah.
And to me, like you can tell, he is the most electrifying man in sports and entertainment. By the moment he walks into the ring to the moment he leaves, he just leaves a mark, and it makes me kind of realize how freaking important The Rock was to WWE programming.
I think something that I did take away stylistically from this match that I wish would kind of make a comeback, and I don't know if it's the way that wrestlers are being trained to take bumps. Again, I'm in no way a professional wrestler, never have been, not going to be, but it's just watching it, and I think they're working just a lot more snug with the punches, with the clotheslines. It just looked more physically hard hitting between specifically between Angle and Triple H. I mean, it looked like they were really just landed in, and I would rather see like a really hammered in punch, deliberately at a much slower pace than this back and forth kind of
Yeah.
quick punches that we get in today's product.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, a lot of times the guys, you can tell it's fake, and that's not what you want.
Correct.
I mean, it's one thing to be at an event and seeing that it's not landing, but to be on TV with 5 million other people seeing, a punch not land, that's not good for the product. And
Right.
talking about impact and just really where this match kind of goes off the rails, I think, is what 5 minutes into the match. You
Yeah.
see the pedigree spot onto a table. The table collapses before the pedigree can even be accomplished and does some real damage there to Kurt Angle. I think realistically, he got his bell rung pretty hard in this match.
Yeah, I would say there's a chance of that. I was looking at it and I couldn't remember if this was the spot where that happens because you see this replayed a lot, with different highlights here and there, and especially with SummerSlam, right? But you see the table like it's kind of tilted, like as they're on it, and so you're almost expecting it to break.
Oh,
Triple H goes for that pedigree. It does in fact break. Angle comes down hard. He's being looked at by medics. The Rock finally gets involved. So you have all of these different parts during the match where it's like it's not all three guys within the match. We just talked
no.
about we have this whole part of the match where it's just Triple H and Kurt Angle. Now we have an entirely different part of the match where it's primarily just Triple H and The Rock. And those guys, I mean, if you know anything about their rivalry and their history, those two are meant to wrestle each other, man.
When that's what's so weird is like I feel like I wouldn't say it went off the rails in a bad way, but I don't think that that was scripted to be the way the match goes. I think with the table breaking, because you look at Kurt Angle, like when he comes up from like his head, his like face is like drooping down where he's not in cohesiveness. But then as he's gone, Rock and Triple H, you just see that chemistry. It's just the vibe is completely different. It's like a heavyweight fight. And this is one of those like if it was just Triple H versus The Rock, even this could have been like an epic match.
I think it actually would have been better if it was two of the three of them and some form or combo going against each other than this triple threat. And I think part of this, what made this a little bit wonkier in this triple threat, and I'll disagree with you a touch in terms of where Kurt Angle was at, and I don't know, maybe he was, but Triple H goes back after him on the stretcher and kind of
Mhm.
gives him a couple of punches, and then Earl Ebner is just like hanging out, letting it happen, man. Like I don't. Earl was in some bad spots a couple of times in this match. I don't know if you caught it as much as I did, but
Yeah.
I think Earl was just like he was just in the way a couple of times. But once that goes off the rails, Triple H, The Rock go back in there. They're really having this hard hitting classic. And before it gets too far down the road, or before it turns into a true 1 versus 1, it cuts back to the back where Stephanie McMahon is begging Kurt Angle to come back into the ring and help Triple H out in a poorly mic'd up segment and a very green Kurt Angle response to get him back into this match. But he does get back out there to play a factor in the finish of this deal.
Yeah, and I think it was just kind of funny how, Steph's getting Angle to help Triple H, who just knocked him out. So it's just kind of funny, what love will do to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like you mentioned, Earl Hebner, there's a point where I think Triple H goes to attack Kurt Angle on the stretcher because this is a no DQ, no rules match. So there are some outside spots that I thought were very entertaining and good use of things outside the ring that you just don't ever see nowadays, like
Mhm.
using the stage or different, or what was it? Stephanie grabs the title belt and slaps the
Yeah.
timekeeper.
Yeah.
That was epic.
I
I
laughed
was
so hard. There was no call for it, but it was so fucking
It
funny.
was so much. It was so better. Much it added to like just her vibe and the story, and then just how she was used as almost like getting hit. Like was it the sledgehammer she got knocked out with, or the belt? I don't know, but it was just like she served her purpose in this match,
Yeah.
and I think with the rules, with everything the way it went, I'd say if you take the beginning of the match, you take the end of the match, and you just condense a little bit in the middle.
Mhm.
This is a very one of those that could really hold up if done right.
Yeah, a couple little tweaks here and there, right? Like I think they had the right idea. It just didn't all quite come together necessarily where it needed to. But yeah, to your point, man, I laughed so hard when Stephanie went over there and slapped the absolute dog shit out of the timekeeper, man. Just to grab that, like she could have just grabbed it. He would have,
Right.
she would have gotten it, but she lays that slap in. But she does get taken out a part of this match well. And Maddie, I think you nailed it earlier in the video when you said you realized how important The Rock was to the
Oh,
WWE product because once Triple H and Stephanie are laid out, The Rock nails the people's elbow. And when he goes for that people's elbow, the place just absolutely comes unfreaking glued. So he does end up retaining in this match because ultimately Kurt Angle, Triple H kind of cancel each other out in the battle for Stephanie, if you will. But there's a lot of entertaining qualities to this
right.
match.
Well, and I think there's a lot that went right for this match when it could have. I mean, we don't know what happened with Kurt Angle, but a lot of this could have been just Triple H and The Rock calling it in the ring. And that's something
Sure,
nowadays
sure.
I don't think a lot of wrestlers could do at a big time paper or PLE like this. To me, The Rock, man, like we talked in our previous episode about Eddie Guerrero. I just had like, to me, The Rock stood out so much. Like the crisp punches, like you were saying, like everything he does this belly to belly throw. And it's so much of it's just, and he sells so well. The Rock is just, I think he's in his prime right here. And in my opinion, 2000 Rock might be untouchable.
both The Rock and Triple H, and this is no slight at Kurt Angle, but The Rock and Triple H look like they're damn near in bodybuilder shape out there
Oh
wrestling.
yeah,
Like they're just like single digit body fat percentage. I absolutely peak at that particular point in their career. One other thing I want to draw back to before we get too far, and I missed it here at the top, but what'd you make about Howard Finkel having the call there in the ring at the top?
yeah. Dude, you love. I think he was one of those. Like he's a goat. He is one of the
Oh, for
best of
sure.
all time. And to me, you can go through all these announcers and all these other things, but when it comes to literally the host of WrestleMania, the host of matches, this guy went above and beyond for WWE. So to me, he can't be ever be replaced.
Yeah, love the Fink. What do you give this match on a 1 to 10, Maddie?
Um, this is another tough one for me because I'm going. This is our second main event match we've watched.
Mm-hmm.
Which is terrible. The Brock and Cody wasn't even the main event. So this one is another one. Like I said, I love the beginning. I love the end. I didn't love the middle. It kind of lagged for me. I don't think I needed. I don't know if it was 28 minutes or 18 minutes, but it just seemed a little too long.
Yeah.
The nostalgia was there. But you can't count out Triple H and The Rock, man. Like I said, what could have been if there was just if it was I feel dumb if I don't go at least an 8. I could go 8.5. I just can't go
Ooh.
9. So I'm gonna stay 8, maybe. I mean, it was just The Rock and Triple H just killed it to me.
I'm gonna take it down a peg. I think this is
Oh shit.
yeah, I think this is our first big disagreement, and the reason that I'm taking it down a peg is because we're coming off the Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio match, and I think I have that one a notch above, and so we were,
Okay.
somewhere in the neighborhood of 7.5 to 8.5 with that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna slot this one in at probably like a solid 7.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, I don't think it's like it's not bad, but you're up against other matches, right, that we've been comparing
Yeah,
throughout
it's
this
so tough,
SummerSlam
man.
run. It's not to me, it's not personally as good as Brock and Cody. It's
No.
definitely better than Flair and Foley.
Right.
But it's a really solid match with fun spots. It's just got to your point. It's got some lag. It's got some things to be tightened up. You
Yeah.
got the star power for sure, and some great individual moments. But I'll give it a solid 7. It's a worthwhile watch for sure. Is what I would say.
Yeah, well, and I think the Stephanie part and the Triple H, I mean,
Hmm.
the angle, the Triple H at first, I was like, eh. By the end of it, I'm invested. And that was
Yeah,
the thing that caught me. Like, even me who hasn't seen this in 25 years, I was like, okay, by the end of the match, when Angle comes back out, Stephanie's involved, like I'm into it. But like I said, I love seeing peak Rock here, 2000s. I hope we get some more Rock match reviews because, dude, he is the GOAT, one of them. Give me Rock in 2000 over everybody.
absolutely. Matty Riser, Matt Kelly, Wrestle Mats. We are taking you through these SummerSlam rewinds on the road to SummerSlam. Give us a follow at WrestleMats. See you soon.